Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today?
Great.
It's always a fun morning here, isn't it? It's never dull with me up here. Welcome to the Christabelle Spiritualist Church. My name is Mark Dorsett. I am the student pastor here, and I will be facilitating your spiritual experience for the day. Please ensure that your seat backs and tray tables are in their full and upright position. Are we ready? Okay, here we go. So, because we are going to be starting a new manifesting initiative here at church, I thought it would be fitting for me to, I'll say, revisit an older sermon of mine that I've sort of updated a little bit. We are going to be talking about how we can use the principles of spiritualism to aid us in the process of manifesting. Now, how many of you are out there are familiar with the term manifesting? All right, most of you are. Cool. For those of you who may not be familiar with the term, essentially it's a fancy term for drawing things into your life. You know, most of us are unconsciously manifesting all the time. If you think about how, if you're focusing on something, it sort of happens. You know, most of us, we spend most of our lives, we're trained into looking for the doom and gloom. We're kind of trained into like worrying about things. And the more that you focus on something negative like that, the more that you're worried about it, what invariably happens pretty quickly? That's right, a bad thing happens. So that's where it's time for us all to reframe our thinking a little bit. Energy follows focus. What you are focusing on into your life is what you are going to attract, good, bad, or ugly. So instead of focusing on what you are afraid is going to happen, I highly recommend focusing on what you want to achieve. Now, for a lot of people, this is going to be kind of a dramatic shift because we have been trained into that, you know, looking for the doom and gloom kind of an issue. It's time to start looking on the bright side. Got to find the silver lining in those clouds, if you will. Now, the first thing you want to do is decide what it is that you want to manifest to you. For most people, when I refer to manifesting, their mind will immediately, it just automatically will go to something material, right? I mean, we are in a material world and, you know, we're all material girls. So we all have that focus because we do have to live in this physical plane. But it does not necessarily have to be something physical. It doesn't have to be something financial. It can be more spiritual attunement. It can be a greater sense of peace. Whatever it is that you would like to manifest, you have the ability to do. So I would suggest that trying not to limit yourself. When it comes to manifesting, the only thing limiting you is your imagination. You know, in the words of Napoleon Hill, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. And I live that. I'm a perfect example of being able to make things happen out of nothing. Technically, I should not be here right now because my Crohn's disease that I got when I was 18 should have taken me out then. But through my own manifesting, through my own self-healing, I've managed to keep things going quite well, actually. So anyway, sorry for the tangent. Once you have a specific goal in place that you want to focus on, the next step, consistency. Consistently focusing on that goal. And that's going to be a hard one for a lot of us because, again, we're kind of trained into having that mindset of just, oh, you know what? I need a new TV. And then the next day you wake up and, oh, you know what? My car's getting kind of old. And then the next day you wake up and you're like, I wish I had that relationship I liked. So, we all kind of have that, where we're just kind of like ADHD about it, where it's like, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. If you can consistently find something that is phenomenally important to you and focus on it every day, you will find that goal will come your way much more quickly. Now, you don't have to spend your entire day doing this. If you can take 5 minutes in the morning or at night or whenever you have time, or even just 2 minutes, we're all pretty busy. Spend just a couple of minutes meditating on your goal. Visualize it. And if you're not as good at visualizing, feel what it's like to have that goal already have occurred. Make it as real to you as you possibly can in your mind. And just allow those joyful feelings to wash over you of what it feels like to have achieved that goal. And like I said, you don't have to spend all your time just obsessively focusing on it. Just kind of keep it in the back of your mind what it is that you want to focus on. And you will find that as you come about your day that little decisions will have to be made about which direction to take you in order to help you manifest that goal. For example, you might have a decision come up, and you kind of have to start interviewing yourself. You have to say, okay, will me taking this course of action, will it prevent me from getting to my goal? And if you objectively get a response of, no, it won't cause a problem, go for it. If you get a response that feels more like, it might slow you down, or taking this way might stop you from achieving your goal, then you have to decide what's more important to you. So it is a matter of taking a little of that responsibility and saying, okay, what do I feel like is going to be best for me? The hardest part? Being objective about it. Because we all have those wants, We all have something we want that we know isn't necessarily best for us. One thing that can assist you in feeling like you're moving forward is consistency in action. It's one thing to sit and think happy thoughts and just, okay, it's coming my way, it's going to be great, it's going to come my way. But you have to partner that with consistent action. So you always want to be trying to make just at least the tiniest bits of progress towards your goal every day. And by that, I mean, even if it is something as simple as doing a little more research on whatever it is that you want to manifest. Just something to make you feel like you're consistently moving forward with it. Now, it is something that even if it's something that changes your mindset, it might help you out. But another area that can really help, and this is another one a lot of us are really trained out of, thinking in the moment and living in the moment. How many of you right now, while you're listening to me, I'm just curious, show of hands, how many of you, while you've been here today, has had your mind wander to something you have to take care of down the road? Be honest. There we go. Okay. I completely understand. I know that is how we are. We're always thinking 10 steps ahead of where we are physically. That is something that, as a suggestion, I'll try to say tame that. Try to tame that a little bit and try and focus as much as possible on being where you are physically in that moment. The reason I bring that up is because we are so future-oriented that a lot of times there's some really fun stuff happening all around us in a moment, even times when there really doesn't seem like there's a whole lot going on. That is when our spirit guides, all of that higher guidance that we have, will be working to get our attention. That's why it's so important to be in the moment. Because when you're not, you're going to miss something, some little synchronicity, some little something that's going to help you on your path. That's also why a lot of people don't feel like they get signs, is because they're so busy up here. And I know I made the joke a couple of weeks ago about thinking and overthinking, but that's very true. So many of us just overthink all the time. So if you can kind of back that off, focus on where you are, you will be amazed at the guidance you receive. Now, I mean, it's okay that we all do that, but, just think about the synchronicities and pay attention to where you are. If you can be in the moment as much as possible, while only keeping where you are heading in the back of your mind instead of in the front, right in front of you, it will help you to navigate things a lot more easily as well, because you will find that little things will guide you in a different direction. The happy accidents where you might never go. This is an interesting one, guys, but the example that just came to my mind, imagine that you never take yourself out, you never treat yourself to ice cream or something of that nature. And all of a sudden, you just get on a whim, you say, you know what, I really need to go do this. I really need to go do this. And you go out there and you find somebody that you haven't seen in 20 years, like a friend that you haven't seen. That's where those synchronicities come in, is by paying attention to that. So anyway, another spectacular tool that I can't stress enough is what's called a vision board. How many of you are familiar with the term vision or dream board? Okay, quite a few of you. I like the term vision board over dream board. And I know it sounds like semantics, but when you're talking about a dream, for a lot of people, it's something that isn't real. It's something that's just kind of this ethereal thing. Whereas a vision board, it just kind of gives that dream focus. It's, okay, this is my vision for what I want. So pick like 3 to 5 things, get a piece of poster board or just something, and find objects, find photographs that will represent what it is you're looking to manifest. I mean, just as using me as an example of that bright blue minivan out there, that is a perfect example of that. I had spent so long focusing on, we need a minivan, we need more space, we need a vehicle that is going to be able to haul stuff for church and for our growing kid here. And so I focused on manifesting that, and I have to be honest with you, by not focusing on how it was going to happen and just focusing on allowing it to happen and trusting, it happened in a way I never would have expected. Yeah, Kate?
I remember you did the one you had before that one too.
Oh yes, actually I did. That SUV I had before. I worked on manifesting that one too. And again, that was another example of it. Didn't turn out the way I expected it to happen. So trust that the process will work out on your behalf, but also just trust that you're going to manifest it. You're going to make it happen. So, okay, I know Mr. Student Pastor Man is standing up here, and it's all fascinating, all these different techniques I'm giving you, but how does that relate to spiritualism? Glad you asked, because right now I'm going to tell you exactly how the 9 principles of spiritualism, they are all over the manifesting process. And it all begins with our understanding of infinite intelligence, or, spiritualist principle number 1, which, is right here. Oops, right here. Now, I am going to go off on another brief tangent for a minute, because I do feel that this is important. When a spiritualist refers to infinite intelligence or God, what we are referring to is not an anthropomorphic paternal figure in the sky on a golden throne. What we are referring to is it's an energy that we are all a part of, that is a part of all of us, that is a part of everything. It is beyond what we can really understand, but that it is a little different from that other concept of what a deity is. We see God, source, spirit, infinite intelligence as being a little different. And, a lot of people will use spirit as a term to interchangeably refer to God or infinite intelligence, so just so you get a little more confused by all the terms. But that is how we see infinite intelligence. Now, principles 2 and 3 are actually also tied into principle number 1 in the sense that they all relate to there being a divine order to the universe to help us manifest our goals. So imagine for just a moment a pastor standing in front of his congregation, and he is telling everybody just about how infinite intelligence, how God wants us to be happy and have the things that we ask for. And then suddenly a voice from the congregation shouts out, if that's true, then why doesn't bread grow from the ground? Why is it wheat that grows from the ground? I got a good answer for that. Because God, infinite intelligence, wants us to know that we are partners in creation. We work together. Just to paraphrase from an old sermon, it's all about the we go. Now, the 4th principle is actually pretty self-evident, and apparently that's why I didn't say it before. Even though our physical bodies wear out and die, our soul, our spirit, our personality lives on beyond our physical death. Which brings us to the 5th principle now. Because we live on after the death of the physical body, we are also able to connect with those people who've already physically died, those people who've shuffled off their mortal coil, so to speak. And you know what? They have a much broader perspective on things than we do here. And what that means is that they can help guide us. And honestly, they are quite happy to do so. Where they are is a place of infinite joy, infinite love, infinite compassion. It is so much beauty that they want us to experience a little of that while we're here. And they want us to know how wonderful it is and how wonderful even here could be. And so, how do we access this help from our loved ones in spirit? We ask for it. We all have free will. We all have the ability to, we all have the ability to dramatically screw up our lives. I happen to be good at that. Sorry, Deb. But because we all have this gift of free will, our loved ones and our spirit guides and all of that, what I term higher guidance that work with us, they generally will wait for us to ask for help. In a lot of ways, think of spirit guides as being souls like we are, spirit like we are, who have kind of gotten it right and still hang around to help the rest of us. You do not have to have a conscious awareness of your guides in order to, in order to ask them for help. So you don't have to consciously be aware of each of your guides, know their names, know what they look like, any of that kind of stuff. I have been asked by Spirit to actually remind you that you don't have to worry about wasting their time either. So if you're asking for help for something, even what seems as trivial as getting a close parking spot, if it's something that is going to make your day go more smoothly and help you on your life path, that is something they will actually help you with. And I know a few of you here have had that.
They're called runners.
Yes, the runner guides.
And they find the perfect parking space for you, the perfect thing at the store. The more you appreciate them and excited to embrace them, the more they give you.
Exactly. And that's where you just ask for help. And again, it goes back to being in the moment, like I mentioned a few minutes ago. If you're in the moment, you'll feel that little nudge. We've all had that little bit of an intuitive feeling where you just feel like, oh, you know what, I should go do this. A lot of times that's our guides working to try and say, come on, go do this, you know. But they will do it gently because we all have free will and they do not want to impinge on that. So that is something that all they ask of is us. Is one, yes, they do appreciate when we acknowledge them, but most importantly, remember that they are here to help us live our lives. By that, I mean, it's not up to them to live our lives for us or to direct us exactly where to go. Their job is to help guide us along and say, hey, I think you should go this way, or hey, I think that way would work for you. But they leave it up to us to make the final decision. So when you start asking your guides, hey, how should I do this? How should I do that? Why? What do you want me to do here? They're going to go, zoop. So you kind of have to remember that your guides are there to help you. And they will guide you, and they're phenomenally wise compared to most of us here, but they will just kind of allow you to live your life unless you're asking for guidance. Okay, anyway, the 6th and 7th principles also kind of sort of tie in together. Are you noticing a theme here? They all kind of relate to each other, and they all kind of dovetail in. Respect other people and their needs while you are working to manifest your goals. So, okay, hold on just a second. I got to get up on my soapbox. Always practice responsible manifesting. By that, I mean, I am asking, do not intentionally manifest something that is going to cause harm to someone else. You know, we've all seen the law of cause and effect in action. We've all seen the different law of retribution. There's so many of nature's laws that will kind of force us away from doing that sort of thing anyway. So please, do not do anything to try and harm a person intentionally. Okay, hold on. Off my soapbox. Also, if what you are looking to manifest is not in line with nature's laws, which is what I had just kind of brought up, you will find that things are going to suddenly go wrong in your life anyway. How many of us have had the experience of deciding, you know what, I really think I should do this, and then all of a sudden everything in our life just falls apart all at the same time? Can anybody relate to that? Okay. The reason for that is, one, you're not following natural law, but also you're not following the life path that you laid out for yourself before you came down here. You're going to find that when that kind of thing happens, what's going on is you've got your life path laid out. If you're trying to take an off-ramp that isn't there on your life path, you're basically bumping up against the guardrail, and your guides are trying to help correct you to get you back on your track. So when everything starts falling apart, you have to interview yourself and say, okay, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do here? And you will find that you will get those answers to help you. And a lot of times you don't want to hear the answer, but if you're objective and open to what they're telling you, it will help guide you a lot. Okay, now principle number 8, that one's also pretty easy to understand. If you make a mistake, you can always correct it. You can always read principle number 4 if you missed it. I am not really a big fan of the term mistake, personally. I much prefer the term inappropriate choice. The reason being, if you make a mistake, it sounds like, oh, you were in error, you did something so wrong. Most of us, we're trying, we're doing our best, but we just made an inappropriate choice in that moment based on what we knew in that moment. You know, and if you think back, I'm going to paraphrase Maya Angelou right now, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. That's pretty much how we all are. We all kind of build on our experiences. So try not to be too hard on yourself. But that is really the essence of principle number 8 is, you know, the door to reformation is never closed. And last, but certainly not least, we do come to principle number 9. God, Spirit, infinite intelligence, whatever term you choose for that divine energy, mediumship and prophecy is a natural extension of how we are all connected to everything. utilizing these abilities, we can all connect with that divine guidance, with our own higher guidance to help us on our paths. So the key, relax, allow, and just be in the moment as much as you possibly can. Be water. So, in a nutshell, how do we manifest our desires? Quite simply, find your goal, or find, a maximum of 3 to 5 goals that you want to focus on at the same time. Otherwise, I find it kind of muddies the waters a little too much, and we all get kind of spread too thin in what we're focusing on. Create a vision board, like I kind of mentioned. Just find something that will help you to symbolize what it is you're looking to manifest. And make daily progress. Just focus every day a little bit. And then be grateful when whatever it is that you're trying to manifest arrives. So, there you have it. A blueprint to help you utilize the science, philosophy, and religion of spiritualism to assist you in manifesting great things into your life that will help you and your loved ones move forward more smoothly and happily. It will help you to be a better, stronger, happier person. So, thank you everyone for listening today. And let's go out there after church today and manifest some wonderful things in our lives. Let's manifest some great, loving, healing energy for everybody. Thank you.